Welcome to the Abuki Cabal Show.
What's happening, everybody? Tonight I'm going to talk about Kevin Samuels' exchange with Twana from Lapeef Talks. Great show. I'm a subscriber. I really like this show. Lapeef is doing a great job over there. You guys ought to go and check him out. I want to thank all my subscribers that I have. You guys are helping me out, supporting the channel. I appreciate that. Hopefully we can get up to 1,000 here. If I can keep putting out good content for you guys. It's been fun. I hope you keep on following me through the journey, and I'll do my best. So, on to the topic. So, I don't know if you guys, like I said, watch the show or not, but Twana and B-Nix from the show are very critical of Kevin Samuels. Lapeef and Anton seem to be supporters of the righteous cause, is what I like to call it. So, Twana has spoken very poorly of Kevin's show and his audience, the women who call in to get advice, help with trying to be better women, potential wives, because we have a problem. We have a big problem in our community. And he seems to be the torchbearer at this time. He's doing a good job. Twana she was out of her element. As you can see, just look at that face, look at the eyes. Most of the time she wasn't even able to really follow what he was saying, because she was so pissed off inside, that she couldn't stick around for what he was saying. And, she was, like I said, she was out of her element. On her show, she's very rude. She is very dismissive of issues that are important to men. Her position is always that, the black man is a problem. She has unrealistic views about, everything that Kevin talks about. But if you listen to her, I don't think she's ever really watched a show all the way through. This is a problem that I've had, discussing topics with women on Facebook. I get the same thing. And it's the general toxicity that we tend to see in these women because they just cannot be objective with regard to information that comes from a black man. Kevin talks about this all the time, how if anything comes from a black man, they don't have to accept it, listen, follow it. They just immediately form an opinion based on a few minutes of basically just looking at you. You don't measure up because you're a black man. I don't have to listen to you because I'm independent. I make my own money. I'm educated. I have a master's. I have a PhD. It's ridiculous. But it's very fun to watch. It just shows that there is a serious problem, like I said. She's just a Sour Patch Kid. She said she was married on the show, but, after watching the show for a little bit, she's not married. So she lied about that. She's got a guy there, but even, Lapeef doesn't say it. But Anton says it all the time. Where's your husband? Tell him to walk by the camera, because it's obvious who runs that relationship. It's obvious, that she tells him what to do. And he's probably over there simping. She's a pretty girl. She's got beautiful lips, but the attitude is toxic. Toxic. She, during the whole show, she tried to overtalk Kevin. She plays the fake security, position that most of the women that you come across. I'm not going to say most women. I'm going to say most black women. Okay. Most of the black women that you see on this show. And I got to say, most of the black women that I come into contact with, on Facebook, some other, social media platforms, you get the same thing, this narrative that you don't need a man, but you're pissed off that men aren't paying attention to you. I mean, it like I said, I can't even put into words how much pleasure this gave me to see her squirm. It was magnificent. Let me tell you, man, this guy is just, every time I see him talk to these women on the show, it's like Mortal Kombat. It's just like flawless victory after flawless victory. He dismantles them with such precision that it is a joy to observe. I tell you, if you haven't seen it, go get you some popcorn, get you some snacks, sit down, watch the show. It was just great. The usual tactics, anecdotal evidence, extreme sass. She's a sass master or mistress. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Just look at that face, man. Just look at it. Magnificent. I'm gonna go on back to Beatniks because I see his face on here too, and it's just, he irks me, man. He's like a larger Derek Jackson of the show. He gets extremely uncomfortable every time they say high value man. Can we not talk about little buddy? It's disrespectful, man. You're calling Kevin little buddy. This man had 18,000 viewers, live viewers that night. So the stadium was full when Twana was getting her ass handed to her. That's the only way I can describe it, and you just got to look at the comments. They were flying fast and furious, It was a bad look for you, Twana. It really was. It was a bad look for you, sweetie. After the show, no, before the show, actually, when Kevin actually invited her on, she was, Kevin was on there and he was actually responding to some of the comments that that she and Beatniks were putting out there. But really, I think Beatniks needs to go on to Kevin's show and defend himself, because he is very moist with regard to his comments about other brothers, and this notion about high value men, they keep, associated with money. It's not about money. Because I'm gonna tell you, what you're missing the point. Kevin is telling you, I'm telling you, that men that make less than $100,000 a year, mid six figures, down to 80, 70, $60,000. Those are high value men. Those men take care of their kids. They take care of their households. They pay their bills. They're educated. They're working jobs better than we had in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. These men are doing well, but time after time, you hear this argument that we are not adequate. No matter what we do, we're not adequate. Yet the women that are judging us are bringing nothing to the table. The table is still undefeated. Undefeated. The table reigns supreme. And guys, don't settle. Don't settle for this mess. Don't settle for this mess. When they come with these judgments and telling you that you are, not coming up to what their expectations are, don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. What you do is you just move on. Then she's going to be mad when she sees you with, Mighty Soul, Becky, whoever, the sister that, they deem to be less than, but she's treating you like a king and you're happy with her. You don't get all that sass and attitude. You do not have to settle for that face. Look at her. She knows in her subjective mind that she can put you through anything and you'll still want to be in her face. I'm telling you not to do that. Don't do that, because you don't have to put up with that. I almost cursed. You don't have to put up with that. You are the master of your destiny. You are the master of who you choose to give your time to. Your time is precious. Don't waste it on sassy mama here. People who engage in pretty points. Show them they have no currency with you. Because when they hit that 30, 35, 40, and nobody wants to deal with them, all you hear them doing is talking about other women, talking about men not being shit. It's the common narratives. But you don't have to deal with that. When you ask these ladies questions and they can't even follow the line of the question in a linear fashion, if you ask them a question, they can't go A, B, C, D in topics. They have to put in what ifs and, well, you're not taking into consideration these other variables. Those other variables are just irrelevant. When he asks a question, you put all the information there for you to consider. I mean, I'm sure, if you've been to college, you've been to, even high school, you know that if they give you, a test question, and it's laid out in a format to where you have to read out the question and answer it in a linear fashion. These women can't do that, but they're college educated. That's what just boggles my mind. Why is it that we always have to add in all of these variables that aren't even, it's like what ifs. In every case, you see them, they always have a story, an anecdotal fallacy, something where I've seen women walk up the street, and I wonder, how do they have these women, And then that gives them hope that basically we'll take anything, that they can act any kind of way, they can do whatever they want, and they can find one of us that's gonna accept that bullshit. I tell you, this new way of doing things is just not good for us. They are taking advantage of the fact that we're going to be chivalrous to them. They want us to just protect all women, not just the women that we have, linked ourselves with. That has never been the case. Men did not just go out and just say, I'm going to protect all the women in the village. They never did that. Show me some evidence. Show me some archaeological evidence. Show me some historical evidence where that was the case. That is not even realistic. But we keep hearing it over and over and over. They shouldn't have to cook. Shouldn't have to clean. Marriage is essentially slavery. Unless they feel like they're controlling how everything goes. And they always want to know how much we make. I can't date a man who's making $40,000 a year. I can't send my kids to school with that. I can't travel with that. I can't have a Real Housewives type of lifestyle with that amount of money. That's what you hear on that show. Oh, and they got a new chick. Can't remember what her name is, but I'll be getting to her soon. She's just as delusional as Twana is. Oh, and did I mention that Twana has a baby? I don't know if it's by, her husband, but had a baby before you got married. Your priorities are jacked up anyway. So now he probably feels like he ain't got no choice but to marry you. Sassy, hot mouth, sexy self. Put that man in a bad situation. But I'm sure he'll pull it through. I hope he does what's right with you, because you need a real man. You don't need somebody that's just gonna let you run all over him. Because it's apparent that you've run all over a lot of guys in your run of the world. But I digress. It was an entertaining spectacle, to say the least. But, like I said, I just wonder if women can even comprehend the concepts, that Kevin throws out on his show. They all profess to be college educated. They all profess to be, proficient. But they all jump out here with mental gymnastics. They want you to jump through hoops, fellas. They want you to jump through hoops. They want you, to show that you're willing to bend over and spread them for them, so that they can just foot you in your crack. Because that's what we see. We see the men are being taken advantage of constantly by these types of women. Subjective viewpoints. They can't be objective. They cannot look at the world as it is and deal with it. they have to change it up in their heads, make the situation more favorable, give themselves hope that they can somehow change reality to fit their viewpoints. That's why you see them overweight. That's why you see them try to keep from doing anything that has to do with them submitting to any man or showing respect to any man. And then you have these effeminate men like B-Nicks that sit up and think that he's going to get somewhere by strapping himself to their position. Well, Twana, I agree with you. And then if you check him out and he's like, he doesn't want to answer questions until he hears the female's viewpoint, then he jumps onto it. And you can tell, you look at Lapeef, he laughs about it. And then you look at Anton, and Anton is cracking up, Anton tries over and over and over to get them to see this from an objective standpoint, but they can't do it. So I'm going to end it there. I don't want to just ramble on about him, but it was very, very entertaining, fellas. You got to go check it out. And, Kevin brutally destroyed this woman. Look at those eyes. Beautiful, isn't it? Just beautiful. That's the look of defeat, gentlemen. The look of defeat. She couldn't handle it. Go check it out. I guess I can't say any more about it. It was spectacular. But you guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Keep riding with me. I'm getting better. I'm building up my skills, trying to, keep it crispy for you guys. I give a shout out to my, my favorite channel. He still remains undefeated. Undefeated. I just love it. I love it. Give a shout out to BGS. Another one. Brutality at the brutality. Don't come over there with no bull crap with him. Because he's gonna shut you down with the facts. That's my dude. I got in the game because of him. Appreciate you, BGS. Y'all go out and check out Green Gorilla, Dr. Tiazan Johnson. Support the guys, support the manosphere, where men have a place where they can be men. I'm out.
I feel like a motherless child, a long way from home.
You are listening to Abuki Kabah, the analytical